What's up, guys? Hi, and welcome to today's session. I believe it was on Thursday when I hit the 100 kilo bench press for 5 reps for the first time in my life. And the crazy thing is, not just that I hit that record, but that I also just did 100 kilos for 5 on literally the first chance I had to repeat that PR. I did it. So now, after 2 days of not really eating enough and maybe not sleeping enough. Tonight I did sleep well, but the night before that, not very well. So I'm somewhat suboptimally recovered in some ways, which is why I'm training today and not yesterday. But I did manage to replicate that best performance I've had. So this is a really, really good sign. And the 100 kilo bench press, as I'm warming up, I do the empty bar for a few reps. I do 70 kilos for 1 rep and I do 100 kilos for 1 rep. And then I hit my set with 100. So on the warm up with 100, it feels kind of heavy in my hands. But when I actually lock in and go for multiple reps with 100, when I know that this is showtime, 100 feels somewhat light in my hands now. It's definitely not a max anymore. I'm absolutely training with 100 for reps. And when I started off with this program that I've been doing here, this upper lower program, I was literally doing 3 sets of 1 rep on the bench press. And now I'm not even doing 3 sets of 3, I'm literally doing 5, 3 and 3. So the improvement going from, 1 or 2 reps being my maximum on the 100 kilo bench press, I don't know, 2 months ago or whenever it was, I haven't even counted the weeks or days at all. But let's say it was 2 months ago, I was doing 100 for 1. Now I'm doing it for 5. I'm doing it for 5 consistently. So it's not far off that I get 6 reps here. And when I do that, I'm highly likely to be able to bench 120 for 1 rep. And if not, I will probably get 117.5, which will be a personal record since 115 is the best I've ever hit so far in my life. And I also am really trying to focus on the form when it comes to my chin-ups. I'm not putting my heels against the stairs, so perhaps there's a small element of swinging, but I am really doing fairly clean chin-ups. And if you look at the circumstances here, I'm much taller than this doorway, and that bottom step gets in the way, so I have to hold my feet in front of, myself, as opposed to having them directly below my hips. So this is definitely a more difficult chin-up in a lot of ways. When I don't kind of support myself against that bottom step, like I'm not doing now, I'm doing these correctly, basically, according to the circumstances. When I use that bottom step as kind of a support, I'm able to do 1 or 2 more reps. Now I'm not doing that, so I'm getting pretty close to the 13:55 time, which is the best time for this amount of reps for me. And, I'm 30 seconds off pretty much, but my form is better now. So pretty soon I'll be doing sub 14 minutes here, but with this good form. So, progress is really being made on these as well. And sometimes I just look at my back and I can just notice that, I don't really think my back was this beefy before. I've definitely gained some muscle tissue there. So much muscle that it's literally visible. So I'm very happy with that. And, it's kind of silly, but my lats are my best body part. They already were. And they are also the body part that's making the most progress, which is a little silly. Maybe it does have a lot to do with the fact that I'm training them so seriously with a very high volume approach. I've been doing it so consistently for so many weeks. I've done so many sets. I'm doing 66 reps of chin-ups here twice a week in total. So, I'm doing more than 100 chin-ups a week. A lot of those reps are pretty close to failure since I'm doing a lot of them fatigued. So, that's a serious volume of chin-ups. And the reason is not really for vanity, although vanity is epic, but the real thing is I want to be able to do the 1-arm chin-up, which honestly is also for vanity. Like, doing a one arm chin up is going to make me feel very strong and capable just within myself. But the real reason is that's such an unusual lift. I really want to show the world and show my friends and show you guys what I'm capable of in achieving that. And just simply because it's such a rare lift. I've never seen anyone do it in my entire life live. So truly looking forward to that. That will be a huge milestone in my life, doing the one arm chin up. It will be probably the most important, the most impressive physical milestone I would have ever achieved in terms of strength. Absolutely. One arm chin up is the rarest thing I will ever have done if I do achieve it. So truly looking forward to that, while also maintaining the hard work on all the other parts of my body. And tomorrow is the leg day, so I'm really going to be focusing on trying to get 10 reps on the 132.5 kilo squat, and also trying to get 6 reps or maybe even 7 reps on the 150 kilo deadlift after that. So tomorrow is a serious training day. I'm going to make sure that I get good sleep tonight so that I'm able to do these 2 consecutive days in a row of training and really make sure that I keep making progress. I'm on a roll, things are going well, so training isn't as mentally challenging right now, but that doesn't mean I can't stagnate again. Stagnation is a choice, and it's, as soon as you get comfortable pretty much with what you're doing and you don't really push for that little extra and you don't challenge yourself, basically you kind of know your limit and you stay within it. You go really hard, but you stay safe. But when you risk it, when you risk injury and when you risk pain and you go for that extra rep, that's where you're going to get stronger. Once you're pretty close to your ceiling, your body isn't just going to put on muscle for free just because you're in the gym. It's going to start really prioritizing the muscles that you put on, and the body will only give you a muscle gain when you actually truly challenge it. And challenging your body is kind of built in such a way that it will give you a lot of pain, a lot of self-doubt. Training to failure for no reason is super unnatural. Let's say you're hunting an animal in the wild, you're running after it, you're really tired, but you push through and your legs are shaking, but you need to kill it because you need to eat. That's completely natural. But doing a set of squats under a heavy bar alone in your attic with no one watching except for a camera who's going to watch you later, and you don't need to do it for any reason. It's just that you've decided that you want to achieve a abstract result of lifting a little bit more weight on the bar. When you put it that way, you understand that the body is definitely going to fight against that, and your mind's going to fight against that. Your mind really doesn't want, your subconscious really doesn't want your conscious to override your body's pain signals like that and push yourself through a set of squats that way. So it definitely requires serious mental strength. Every single set you do when you're building strength, when you're in a phase of getting better, every single set is a new challenge. And, every time that you don't really go all the way is, absolutely not a wasted effort, because at least you're not going to get weaker, but you're definitely not getting stronger if you don't really challenge yourself. And I've noticed it's the same thing at my summer job now, without talking too much about it, because I think that that's really a different topic and not really what I want to speak on this channel. But, the days where I challenge myself and do new things that I'm uncomfortable with, those are the days that I learn something and I get better at my job. The days where I do the same stuff, I do get a little bit better. I get more refined at what I already know. But those aren't the days where I improve and I improve the confidence in my work. The days I improve the confidence in my work are the days where I go to failure in my job. Basically, I try to do something that I can't do and I fail and I have to try again. If that makes sense. I have to ask for help, or I have to do it in a new way in order to achieve the result. So going to failure is actually the way to grow, not only in training but also in life. And when I say failure, I don't mean you need to go bankrupt to get better at business, but I mean you need to make mistakes and you need to learn from the mistakes. And the good thing is you're going to make mistakes anyway in life, so you don't need to try to make mistakes. Just try to do your best, try to do as much good things as possible, and you're going to make mistakes, but then learn from the mistakes. So somehow, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but somehow I managed to sneak in a life and business lesson into my weight training video. So I think I'm going to take that as a positive sign that I'm actually becoming more mature, although it isn't something that I usually speak on this channel. So that is what I have to say on today's workout. I'm neutrally proud in a healthy way, but not in an arrogant way of the work I put in here these past many weeks. I've been taking for granted for many years that, I just do this, I just put this effort in, and I just improve all the time. But constant improvement isn't something that should be taken for granted, because constant improvement is truly difficult and requires you to change, which is very, very painful. And therefore, I should be happy that I'm making progress, even though the progress is slow. I'm actually making progress, which is a very serious, very good thing. And I'm happy with that. So I need to not only work harder to improve more, but I also need to understand that slight improvement is improvement, and it is good improvement, because improvement isn't just me going to the gym. Improvement is me going to the gym with intention and going through deliberate pain over time and really not backing down, not giving up. When you're doing a set and you kind of have that micro moment where you take a little extra rest, where you don't push quite as hard, where you cheat a little bit so it gets a little bit easier. Every time you skip that urge and you actually do the full thing on every rep and you finish every set to failure, you complete everything the way it was intended. Every single time you do that, you get maybe 1,000th closer to your ultimate goal. And it's a really slow, really painful process. So I'm not taking for granted the progress I'm making right now. I'm really happy, and the reason I'm making this progress is because I put in the effort and I deserve it. That's why I'm making the progress, because I deserve it. So I'm going to make sure to deserve this next rep on the 100 kilo bench press and the next, weight jump on the deadlift and so on. So I'm going to take care of my body this evening, go to bed at a reasonable time, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.